Well, you ready, man? You nervous?
Who, me?
I'm super nervous. Dude, look at him. He's not nervous. He's the epitome of class.
Go.
That's you. It's not me. You start this thing. Hey, everyone, and
dude,
welcome.
My God, I was going to say it.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to The Inside, a podcast where we get into the extraordinary minds and experiences of everyday people. I'm Jay, and with me, as always, is Adam. What's going on, Adam?
Hey, Jay, how's it going, eh? You know, not much around here. Just I've been working on some programming for my department, so moving us into the digital age. They're kind of a step behind that, so trying to learn an airplane while you're flying it is always a fun task. But anyway, what about you?
You lost me at programming. It sounds so exciting.
Math on the computer. Technology never works. I'm nerding out over here. Let's move along. What about you, man? What have you been up to lately?
Well, one exciting thing is I went to Asheville, which is, as you know, is about an hour from here. And sometimes that's a pain because
it is.
And I mean that because you never know what the traffic's going to be like. In the mountains, there's usually one way in and one way out. And if that one way is blocked up or whatever, forget it.
Saw your leg off. You're going to die out there.
I'd rather saw my arm off, but anyway, I went to Asheville for somebody's birthday party, and it turned out that Arnold Hill band, or not the Arnold Hill band, but Arnold Hill.
Yeah, the guys from season 1, right?
Yeah, they were playing there, and it turned out to be a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah, those guys are so cool.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, that's old news, right? That's season 1 stuff.
Yeah.
But Adam, there's Asheville's known as kind of beer city, I think, because there's so many breweries there. But there's also a ton of great music in Asheville.
Yes, there is. I actually heard the saying that Asheville is the Nashville of North Carolina.
No. I've heard that, but that's wrong. Okay, because it's here's the way it works. Asheville is the Knoxville, Tennessee of North Carolina. Adam.
Okay.
And Knoxville is the wannabe Nashville, which is Music City of Tennessee.
Okay.
So basically, we are Nashville, Tennessee, twice removed.
Okay.
Are you following me? Are you following me?
Let's just finish it up.
Okay, wait. Okay. And Adam, actually, if you think about it, with your brain, we are Nashville only once removed, because if you take the N from Nashville, what's left, Adam? That's right, Asheville. You got it.
Yeah.
And Adam, if a train leaves Knoxville at 1:30 and another one leaves Asheville,
stop. Let's just move on.
All right. So
anyway,
yeah. So anyway, when I was in Asheville, which is Nashville once removed, if the train leaves.
Okay.
Time. Anyway, I tried to see this other guy because he plays blues and jazz guitar, and I really love blues guitar. But it didn't work out because I couldn't quite get to the venue. But
who was he?
Anyway, his name is Audie the Monk.
The Monk?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never actually met a monk in real life.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty interesting because he was a monk for 8 years, and then a martial artist, and kind of a BA fighter guy. But he's a professional musician. He plays guitar, really well. He has 4 albums, and he plays in a ton of places in Asheville, right here, an hour away from us, if the traffic's good.
Dang. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's just bring him on.
Super cool.
Yeah, I think we should just dedicate this interview to hearing about him, his life as a monk, and how he got started in music, and all the cool stories that go around that.
Yeah, I'm so into. How about this? Why don't we hop off here, take a quick break. We'll hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll just bring Adi on.
Our fake sponsor.
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't know if we had a real sponsor.
The lawyers said we had to say the word fake. Anyway, but then we'll bring Adi on. All right, sound good?
Yeah, man, I'm down.
Cool.
Hey, Adam, what's happening, my man?
Oh, just not been feeling too well lately. My fish has been keeping me up all night.
What? Your fish is keeping you up all night? I mean, like, is it moaning or like blowing too much bubbles or something?
I don't know.
Really, I mean, if you're having a problem with your fish, like maybe it's its diet or something like that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Could I be feeding it like the wrong food?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance because like it's a really hot topic these days, like what you feed your pet. What I think might help is that will kind of appease the advocates is like the new all natural, organic, antibiotic free range fish kib.
Fish kib?
It's like that natural dog food that's made by a professional organic chef, but for fish.
Oh, so it's got like all those like fresh ingredients and like eggs, steak, green beans, mashed potatoes, chocolate shake,
Whoa, Adam. Listen, it's not just a chocolate shake in this crap, okay? It's an organic, shade-grown, local farmer-owned, exploitation-free, sustainable, fair trade chocolate shake. Okay, that's only the best for your fish, right?
Okay.
But really, the best part is like all it takes is like 3 quick hours a day to make your little fish happy again.
Wow, I mean, dude, just 3 hours a day? What a deal. Yeah, like if you guys want to keep your fish happy and healthy, use the promo code Waste of Time to get 10% off your first order. Get your fish kib today.
Well, hey, Adi, and welcome to the podcast.
What's up, Adi?
Hey, my friends.
Hey,
you're looking way more dressed up than we are.
Oh yeah, it's just how we do it.
I didn't know this. Oh, he's a professional. Remember?
Exactly.
We're just gonna jump right in here. So you were born near the banks of the Mississippi River, right, in Illinois, and I heard you play guitar and other instruments, and then you fell in love with the blues pretty early on, I guess in your teens.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
What can you tell us about that? About your roots and like who are your influences? Who made you who you are as a musician today?
Gotcha. I was born in Southern Illinois, Murfreesboro, Illinois. It's kind of across the river from St. Louis, and lived there until I was about 8 years old in Southern Illinois. We lived in a really small town. Ulin, Illinois was population 500 at the time.
Wow.
It's like one of the smallest towns I've ever heard of, but that's where we lived, by the cornfield and stuff. And it was real quiet and peaceful, real country. And then, we moved up to Champaign-Urbana, where the University of Illinois is, when I was, 8 years old. So I more or less grew up in that, college town of Champaign-Urbana in central Illinois, but I've lived all over the state of Illinois, and started playing guitar when I was about, I guess, 8 or 9 years old. I mean, we always messed with instruments since we were. When I say we, I mean me, and I had an older brother that was 14 months older than me, who's since passed on. But we started off playing really more like heavy metal and stuff like that was on the radio. I think it's probably like, to be honest, let's say like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Poison, that kind of music that first got us really wanting to like play guitar and be cool.
Yeah.
And
nice.
my interest developed, matured, and meandered like that. I got into classic rock a little bit more. I got into Jimi Hendrix, got really into Jimi Hendrix, and through Jimi Hendrix and studying him and his life and his music, then I learned a lot about R&B and blues, and started looking into Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, Howlin' Wolf, some of these men that are staples of blues music.
Yeah. But you mentioned your brother, who was just a little more than a year older than you. Did he really influence you as a musician, or did you guys kind of just not one influence the other?
Man, I would say my brother Carl very much influenced me as a musician because of his ambition with it. He was just a little bit more of a go-getter with it. You know, he took the initiative to get things, to get equipment, and to make moves. So he really got me going. I'm not sure if I would have picked up guitar and been playing electric guitar in the 5th grade, etc., if it weren't for my brother Carl. And then he started writing songs, having friends over together, putting little bands together. So, you know, I followed suit. So, you know, my 6th, 7th grade, we were doing that. We were writing songs, putting together sets of music, recording tapes, drawing up little album covers, you know, having friends over, making little bands with our friends, 2-3 member bands and stuff like that. So we were doing that from pretty early on.
Well, how did you guys come across the instruments? Like, were you fortunate enough that like people were able to provide this for you, or were they just already in the house, or what?
Yeah, we had some little ukuleles from the Philippines. I'm from a Filipino American household, Filipino. You know, grew up in Illinois though. So we had these little ukuleles from the Philippines made from coconut shells. And then my mom had a nylon string classical guitar that she would play on. So when we started playing, we had those things to mess around with. And then at some point we started taking lessons, and we picked up another steel stringed acoustic my mom got it at a garage sale. So we started going for some music lessons, with those 2 acoustic guitars. Me and my brother, we would go every Saturday morning. I remember one time we went, it was pouring down rain, and we didn't have any kind of cases or gig bags or anything. So we just covered those acoustic guitars with garbage bags, like, you know, put it in a garbage bag and put another one over the top. And we went to our guitar lessons like that. And I just remember everybody laughing at us when we came in for our music lesson. But, you know, when the next Christmas came around, you know, we had the electric guitar on the wish list, and that was my first electric. Was it was a Stratocaster knockoff kind of replica, but really a good quality guitar made by Harmony, and it was purchased from like Sears or JCPenney.
Oh yeah,
and gotta start somewhere, right?
Shoot, it was great. You know, I loved it. I've loved all of my guitars. I think that's a very big part of being successful or complete as a musician is loving your instrument. I believe that's one of the first steps, loving it and respecting it. So I've never looked at my instruments and thought, what a cheap piece of junk. I can't wait till I, you know, can get this or get that. Then I can really play good. No, man, we're talking about, it's a piece of wood with a wire nailed to it.
Right.
Playing on. So just love what you have and play what you have. Don't put it off for later.
Yeah. But you were talking about your brother. I watched an interview where you said that you guys as kids, and you said went hands on, which I took as fighting, right? Which you kind of said was normal for brothers, which I would agree with. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned later on as an adult that happened again, kind of surprisingly. I was just going to see if you would tell us what happened.
We got into everything together, and we did. We tended to fight a lot. Those ukuleles that I mentioned earlier. He broke one of them over my leg, like hit me. He chased me around the house. He hit me really hard with it and like broke the thing over my leg. It left a bruise for months. So stuff like that. It was pretty vicious, but he, whenever we would confront other people, he was always my number one guy that had my back.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my brother for his toughness, but he would, share that with me as well. So even surprisingly, when we were already adults, we hadn't been together. We hadn't been around each other for 10 or 15 years. This is what was crazy about it. You know, I became a monk, and I was a monk for 8 years. During that same time period, he got into emergency medical services, volunteer fire. He was a paramedic in EMT in Grand Rapids, Michigan for many years. So then he came to visit me in the Philippines. I was living in the Philippines at the time. I already had a wife and a daughter. And I don't know, just it doesn't really make any sense. This is a little brotherly thing. We were reminiscing and sharing some beers, and hey, this is my store in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. Nobody tells us when to close. I close when I'm ready to go to bed. And
Exactly.
my brother was just started saying like, the sun was starting to come up, and he was like, oh, you need to close your store. And for some reason, he just started getting real heavy with me about it. And to the point that he stood up and grabbed my collar. Not rational at all, made no sense at all. But that's where it went. He stood up and he grabbed my collar like, it's on. So I stood up, I knocked his hand off and squared off with him. And he was like, oh, so it's going to be like that, huh? I was like,
Oh
well,
gosh.
it's like, I don't want it to be like that, man. But I mean, I'm not 12 years old anymore. You can't like rough me up and put your hands on me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like that. And he actually passed away a year later. So for what it's worth, I'm happy that I got to spend time with him. It's mostly good memories. Just that even little sparks like that, I don't think of it as bad, man. I'm not that soft. I don't care about that.
Right.
It's not bad. It just is what it is.
Well, thanks for sharing that, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
But you had mentioned, that's the next thing I wanted to ask you about. Adi the monk is not like just a stage name, right? Like you're a Hindu monk, and like you said, like you went and spent 8 years as I'm going to say this wrong, Vaishnava?
Vaishnav. Yeah, Vaishnava. Yeah.
Vaishnava monk.
Vaishnava. Yes, sir.
And the temples of India and Nepal, right?
Yeah, our world headquarters in West Bengal, India.
Okay.
Wow. So this tradition has like a monotheistic or personalist philosophy, and can you describe it for us, like who aren't familiar with it? Like, because I certainly am very naive about it.
Sure, absolutely. I'd like to clarify that I was a Vaishnav monk, meaning a brahmachari or celibate student for 8 years. But I'm not a monk now. I have a family. I have a wife and 2 children. But I do still practice the principles of bhakti yoga that we followed while I was a monk, and I'm still technically a priest. I just think that Adi the priest is in a very good stage. So I could be Adi the monk. And it just kind of carried over because when I was a monk, a lot of people knew me as the monk, or when I was like freshly an ex-monk, a lot of people knew me as the monk, called me the monk. So it's just kind of like a nickname or identity that sort of stuck with me. But Vaishnavism means follower of Vishnu, and Vishnu means the supreme person, the supreme cause of all causes. So, yes, it is very much a personalist tradition. A lot of Hinduism, because Hinduism is just it's a big umbrella term. It's not actually a scriptural term. It doesn't actually indicate a specific type of belief or anything like that. It's kind of a general term for the religious practices of India. But a lot of Hinduism is focused on the impersonal aspects of the supreme, the formless void, if you will, the all-pervading aspect of the supreme impersonal. So we see that aspect of things. We respect and appreciate that all-pervading spirit, but we also accept that the supreme person, Vishnu, if you will, is an individual person, and does not lack his impersonality or lose his personality at any point. Neither do we.
Well, Adi, how'd that come about? Like, was it something that just like hit you on the head one day while you're out playing guitar, or like was it more like a long period journey? Like, how becoming a monk come about?
Yeah, I got very inquisitive in my teen years. Around the same time, I was really into playing blues guitar, and then maybe a little bit after that, and so I started dabbling in mind-altering substances, you could say, like, hallucinogenics and things like that. And that might have had something to do with me just becoming very open-minded, in the sense that a lot of the walls to my perception were just kind of torn down at an early age. Not that I'm recommending those things, but that did have a lot to do with why I made the turn that I did. It all started when I received a copy of the book Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita means the Song of God, and it's the most important scripture of India. Most people will agree with that statement. It's a 5,000-year-old book of spiritual knowledge explaining the science of the soul. So I received a copy of that book from a monk that was traveling. I was at a small festival and got a copy of Bhagavad Gita from him for a donation. Immediately upon seeing the book and taking it to my hand, I had a very strong conviction that the book was very important. And as I read it, I just, got more and more excited that, because it all seemed so logical and so real. And I just had this sensation that, finally, here it is. This is what I expected the reality to be all along. This is what I felt the truth to be all along. But it was never clearly stated or presented to me. But
right.
Here it is. Here it is. And I just kept, reading. I learned about meditation from there was a local center. And then after a couple more years, then that conviction came to a point where I was like, well, this is real. And if this is real, then I had better take it seriously. I had better get real with it. And so that's what I did. I visited a temple and when I was 19 in Chicago, and I also felt very strongly that this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. I had other plans. I had other aspirations and, ideas, but all of that just got swept away, pushed off to the side. This is where I want to be. Don't want to be anywhere else. Don't even want to consider being anywhere else. This is what I need to be doing right now. And I stuck with it for quite a while.
Cool. Well, while you were there, what exactly, like not just you specifically, but what is a monk's role? Like, what do you do in terms of like a typical day, week, month? Is it all meditation or some like adventures you get to go on too and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, when we say monk, we just basically mean a celibate student, usually someone who's living in a monastery or a theological seminary. So that's why I call myself a monk, because I became a celibate student and moved into a temple or an ashram when I was 19 years old. Of course, we have so many different traditions, and there are monotheistic traditions or monastic within all of those different traditions. So within our tradition of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, a monk means that you live in the temple generally, that you rise early, 3 or 4 a.m., and that we kind of cleanse and consecrate the body as a temple of God, and we enter into the temple room and chant, both privately on beads. We have a vow where we chant a certain number of names of God on beads every day, and it comes out to about a minimum of 2 hours of chanting. So we're chanting the names of God for a couple hours on beads, but you rise very early to do that and to do the other temple programs with other monks and people who attend the temple programs. So it's not necessarily that you're spending all day meditating. Actually, in our movement or in our lineage, we place a lot of emphasis on the outreach, sharing the wealth that we have. So a lot of the time is involved with preaching, teaching, sharing, education, and that's why I traveled so much. I didn't travel for the sake of adventure, though I had plenty of adventure. I didn't even travel out of my own desire. Most of my traveling, as I traveled so much, all of my desires to wander and for adventure and travel were pretty much satiated during the 8 years that I was a monk. And it was all just in the course of performing my different prescribed services of teaching and preaching. To simplify things, generally when you're a brahmachari, a monk in our tradition, you're taking detailed instruction from the guru, from the spiritual master, because that's what a brahmachari monk means. You're living under the care of the spiritual master. So I wasn't, when I was a monk, you don't really make decisions for yourself in that way. Your guru will confirm them, or it's not really appreciated that you would be whimsical and just decide for yourself what you think is best. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of being a student and being a monk like that. So,
I read a book. It's a novel by Christopher Moore called Lamb, and it's kind of an entertaining but thoughtful book about Jesus, like in the years his kind of teenage and his formative years when kind of nobody knows what he was doing. And in this story, he goes to visit like the kind of wise men or teachers that supposedly came to see him at his birth. And they're in monasteries and things like that. And he learns a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of other crazy, funny stuff that happens, but there's a lot of stuff that really makes you think about maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah, this is not a new idea, and there is apparently actually a lot of evidence to support that that Christ did travel east during the missing years, or the the unaccounted formative years for him. I've heard of at least a couple temples in India, Nepal that claim to have his name entered in a guest registry or some type of record of him actually having visited.
It's interesting. But I was getting around to that. Sorry to interrupt you. So in that story, he learns a lot. That's his formative learning time. But I was just wondering, what are some of the biggest lessons you learned from the time, as a monk that maybe you wish you could have others hear about and learn and live out?
Well, the lessons are the same. We're practicing in the tradition of Bhakti Yoga, which is the tradition of loving devotional service to God. And so essentially there's no difference between these teachings and the teachings of Jesus Christ, and that love of God, praising of God and glorification of God at all times, unconditional, unmotivated, loving service to God. That's the goal. That's the purpose of our existence, is to glorify, praise God, and to love God. So in that sense, there's no difference. And have I learned that? Well, I'm learning it. I hear it. I try to understand it and accept it.
Well, this is fantastic stuff you're giving us here, Adi. And there's a shame that some people don't know how to use podcasts. If there was a way to kind of write it down in a book or something, I think that'd be really helpful. Wait, I think you are writing this down in a book, aren't you?
Yeah, he is.
That's right.
Come
I almost
on,
forgot.
What you did there?
Yeah. They call me slick for a reason.
Yeah, what if there was some way that people could just read the stuff that you were saying?
Exactly. So can you tell us a little bit about what it's called, when it'll be published, and what you kind of hope it'll do? We're just hyping up the pre-release. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's about half written, or maybe a little bit less than half written. But I have an awesome book in the works. It's called Into the Forbidden Temple, and it is basically an account of a series of events and adventures that I experienced while a young monk in India. It doesn't talk about Nepal at all, because it's talking about some specific incidents for a specific purpose. That's thus the name, Into the Forbidden Temple. We're talking about a specific temple, the Jagannath Temple in Puri, which is a temple that is very well known for being very strict about not allowing non-Hindus, Westerners, to come inside, to the point that they will beat you. They will imprison you. They will fine you. All of these types of things. Take your cameras, break your cameras. There are many, many, many examples of this happening. But I, the hero, went inside the Jagannath Temple. Wow. Even though I am not Indian born or Hindu born, and even though I am from Southern Illinois, I was able to go inside the Jagannath Temple. And even for us in this movement or in this tradition, that's pretty rare. I only know of a few Westerners. I personally only know of two that have gone inside, 2 or 3, and one was beaten, one was chased,
and the other one was beaten and chased.
Exactly.
Yeah. One that I just recently heard about. He was kind of I guess didn't really know exactly where he was, and he just kind of stumbled in or wandered in the wrong gate.
Oh, what? Yeah. How did I
end up here? He didn't really know what he was doing. Yeah, something like that. But so yeah, I've got my book Into the Forbidden Temple, which is it's got a lot of nice stories, and that's why I had to put the book out, because I've got a lot of a lot of stories that I tell from those 3 trips to India that I took when I was in my 20s, and just wanted to be able to put them all down before they get lost forever.
Well, I can't wait to read that book. It sounds really great.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I better work on it.
Yeah, you should get on that.
Yeah.
But so meditation, right? You talked about that a little bit. I'm guessing that's something that you still practice.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What are the benefits to meditation?
Of course, there are different levels of meditation, and then there are different things that we can meditate upon. So rather than meditating upon any silence, we meditate upon the name and the form of God. Our primary meditation is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is 16 names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a transcendental sound vibration. And the understanding is that because God is absolute, he's not different from his name. So when you say the name of God, and God has unlimited names, authorized names, but when we say the name Krishna or Govinda or Allah, the God is fully present within the name. Mm-hmm. So you're associating directly with the Lord. So what can be more purifying than that?
I think a lot of people don't meditate because they just think it like takes a long time. Like we're in this like hurry, rush life, right? Or I mean, you have to be really intentional, or people just think they don't understand it or think it's weird. And I think we don't talk a lot about inner callings or going to the silence and here in the West. In fact, most of us don't even really know how to be in the silence. What do you think about that?
If we actually want to understand who we really are, then yes, it takes some focus, because we have to zero in and see past all of the nonsense, all of the clutter that we've got going on, the misidentifications, if you will, thinking I'm this, I'm that, I'm the CEO, I'm the whatever it is, I'm the truck driver, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a family man, I'm African, I'm Australian. We have all of these misidentifications that we place upon ourselves, which are actually all just in relation to the temporary material body.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, we wanted to ask you about being a martial artist. So I think you used to teach martial arts, and there may be more specific than that you want to mention, but you were also the toughman contest winner in Asheville in 2010. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I did that in 2010, and I did that. I had moved here from the Philippines in 2008 and had been studying Filipino martial arts in the Philippines, and was kind of being encouraged by my teacher over there to teach some of that when I came back here to the U.S., and I was sort of interested in doing that too. But I really wanted to, and I had already started taking some private lessons. I was thinking about starting up a school, but I wanted to do something to really show that we were for real with these hands, and that we weren't that we weren't fake about it. So I thought, well, let me enter this contest. I saw the billboard when I was driving around town one day, entered that thing, trained for it for 6 weeks, and went in and did it.
You were
just 6 weeks?
He was still trying to prove something to Carl.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was 3 fights, straight boxing. I had 1 fight on a Friday night, 2 fights on a Saturday night. That's good. I still teach martial arts. I've had a few schools here in Asheville, North Carolina. I still teach martial arts. I have a private student coming over tomorrow, but I just keep a 1 or 2 private students, people that have been with me for a while.
All right. Yeah, I can respect that. So when you do play guitar, do you like performing kind of like solo guy or a part of an ensemble or group?
I like both. I'm happy to just play it either way. Most of the work that I have as anyone can see, is right now solo work. But I played with the band on Friday night. I have my own band from time to time that we pull together for different shows when requested. So most of my engagements that I get paid for and make a career doing are playing solo. But when required, yes, or when possible, I love playing with the band, playing with other musicians. And just last night, I was performing at my regular weekly gig at the Biltmore Estate here in Asheville, North Carolina, and a man that I had made eye contact with him and kind of noticed him when he came in, and he listened to me play for quite a while, and then came back from out of nowhere and told me that he was putting a band together and was going to be playing in all over the country and even some international and in things like that. And basically is asking me if I'm interested in joining his band and then starting to travel to different places and play with his group, which is, he said something about a minimum 5-piece percussion section with congas, timbale, and all that stuff. So it should be quite a an opportunity.
So how do you respond to something like that?
I like for my music to be heard by many, many people. I'm not trying to tour. I have a family, I have a wife and
Sure.
2 kids here in Asheville, and I'm not really trying to, I'm not dreaming about being on the road. I have no desire like that, but I will do it if the opportunity is right. Basically, if the money makes sense and the opportunity is attractive and everything feels right. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do it. I got no problem with getting on a plane.
Cool. Well, like, speaking of kind of traveling and group musicians, if you could hypothetically play in a gig with like any musician around the world, alive or passed away, who would you put in your lineup and why would you pick them?
That's interesting. I always have a funny time with questions like this because I don't really like to imagine very much. I really like to keep it in the reality. I've definitely got people that I admire. John Lee Hooker, Hubert Sumlin. Hubert Sumlin was always a big inspiration to mine. He was a guitar player for Howlin' Wolf. To be honest, I mostly listen to rap, and it's been like that for a long, long time. Most of my life, when I haven't been a monk living in a temple, I've been an avid listener of the hip hop and rap genres, since I was a kid. So I feel like, not that I'm a big Carlos Santana fanboy. A lot of people think that I am, but I think that Carlos Santana should put me on. I think I should fly out to Las Vegas and be on stage with him.
Well, he likes to collaborate, so
yeah, I know. He just needs to know who I am.
Well, we're talking to him next week, so we'll make sure to put your name in the conversation.
Would you do that?
Thanks.
Right,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool.
Adi, this sounds like just too good to not let some people hear like what you sound like. So we want to give a few song clips a listen and hear the different styles you play.
We definitely want to share the song Root Systems. Got a song called Root Systems. Just it's kind of like a jazz tune, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Just a real nice vibe. I like it a lot. I'm proud of it. Of all the pieces that I put together, it's one that I'm probably the most satisfied with. So Root Systems. It's from my latest album. My last album came out in 2020. It's called Soul of the Earth.
Tell us another. How about another one? Share another one with us.
Feeling You Gone. This is a song that I've recorded a couple times a couple different ways, and I always play this one when I play out live. I always love to play this one. I feel it. A lot of people feel it too. The song's called "Feeling You Gone." It's just a real smooth, kind of laid back, jazzy track.
So good.
My 2019 release is called Soul of the City Streets.
That's right.
And that's 8 songs, and all 8 songs feature my friend and elder, Mr. Bobby Sachs. Bobby Sachs, among many other things, he played the last 8 shows with Marvin Gaye, and toured with a lot of other big names in the music world. So he's had an impressive career. He's still an impressive player, and he plays on the streets of Asheville, which is how I met him, from also playing on the streets of Asheville. And when he plays out there almost every day, and he gets a lot of tips and stuff, but mostly for playing the same little melodies, the same little ditties over and over again. So I wanted, and he wanted, for an opportunity for him to stretch out and improvise a little bit. So I put that album together and invited him over here to my home studio and had him put down his saxophone parts. So that was brilliant.
Do you have a song you really enjoy that you guys played together?
The Good Rain is a nice track. I love all 8 tracks that Bobby Sachs went on, but The Good Rain.
We're gonna give that a spin.
I got this short blues piece called Boy Beans Blues, which is it's just a simple Delta style blues piece. And what's special about this piece for me, other than it hypes a lot of people up, a lot of people like it. But what's special about it to me is of all of the pieces of music that I play, that I carry with me, that's probably the one that's been with me the longest. Boy Beans Blues. I always played that little lick since I was a little kid. So we're still playing it now. We're just getting paid for it.
I can't wait to hear it. Wow, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those. I really hope people will go onto Spotify or wherever right now and listen to that. Or if we're local in Western North Carolina, get out there and try to see you play somewhere.
Yeah, my music is available on all streaming and digital platforms. So any place where you look up music online, YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. I'm on all of those things. So just find me, Adi the Monk. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, Adi the Monk. And then I've got my own website, www.adithemonk.com. And I have all of my events listed. I update the calendar every month. So if you ever want to know where to find me, go to Instagram or Facebook, post all the shows there, or go to adithemonk.com.
Do you have a signature or favorite guitar you play as Adi the Monk when you go out and have gigs or perform?
Oh, I sure do. My guitar Chipito, which is a
Chipito.
It's an Ibanez hollow body jazz guitar.
That's pretty.
And This is the only
It is.
guitar that really leaves the house with me. This is perfect for jazz and blues. Other than that, I'm traditionally or historically a Stratocaster player. Like I mentioned, my
Nice.
first guitar was a Strat copy, so I've always got a Strat. Or
Yeah, what you guys
Copy
can't
guitar.
see is there's another guitar back there. There's a bass. There's a ukulele hanging on the wall. There's some I don't know, percussion back
Yeah, I've got
there.
congos. Yeah, I got instruments.
Congos or congas.
Yeah, they're congas.
Well, Adam, I'm glad we got in here on the ground floor. Like he's like right about to break it into like the big time. So
Exactly.
I think you're right.
So when he's super big and famous, we'll need that private jet ride.
But I'm still gonna rock with y'all.
yes,
No matter what. You say, yeah, you'll be in the private jet with me, and just tell me where you want to go.
okay, we have that
Awesome.
recorded.
Yeah.
But we don't know. I mean, Inside Podcast might blow up before Adi the Monk does. So
Hey,
I might
we'll bring you with us too, official
Yeah.
musicians.
Let's do it. Machu Picchu. That's where we're gonna go.
Exactly.
Adi, lastly, we want people to be able to get out and experience your incredible music. So you had mentioned the Biltmore estate. Where else can people see you?
Yeah, I play at the Biltmore Estate. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm playing there every Sunday evening. And I also play at Sunny Point Cafe here in Asheville. I play at Whistle Hop Brewing Company in Fairview. Those are some of my regular spots. And like I mentioned, everything's kept listed on my website. So you can always find the details of where I'll be from week to week.
Sweet. Well, all that will be listed all over the place. We'll make sure to share that a bunch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it when people come out to see me play.
Yeah, we're going to be, you'll find two guys out there next week with I Heart Adi t-shirts on the front row.
Okay, cool.
Well, Adi, thanks so much for coming on the show today, man. It's been a blast to have you on.
Yeah.
Really insightful.
Yeah, for
Really.
sure. Thanks for having me.
Later.
See ya.
All right. Peace.
Dude, talk about a cool interview. I mean, I loved hearing about all these different stories that we bring on, and just life that's different than my own, which his definitely is. And I think all those experiences really help forge his music career, as he pointed out. I'll tell you what, I've checked out some of his work in addition to what he sampled on the show today.
Mhm.
And my personal favorite is The Origin. That's what I jam out to off his discography track the most. So that's my personal shout out to Adi, although all of his music is phenomenal. What about you, man?
Yeah, really. I just think it's really interesting to hear about people's lives and how everything comes together, works together for where you are. I mean, the fact that he was a monk and the commitment that takes, that's really inspirational in its own. And, I know it's more than just a thing, it's it's part of who he is. And, to know that he and his brother were just fooling around with instruments when they were kids, but then all that circled around to this, right? I mean,
Right.
yeah, I'm just really impressed with how intentional he is with his professionalism as a musician. And I don't know. I know you and I are looking forward to his next show, man.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I hope the bouncer lets us backstage to say hi to him.
I don't know about
security's pretty tight at those places.
Well, after what you did last time too, so there's that. So.
Forgot about that. I hope he forgives me for that. You think that about wraps it up for today, man?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one, Adam.
Alrighty, well, that was The Inside. Do you know someone you think should be on The Inside? Send us an email with some suggestions. Again, Adi's Instagram was Adi_the_monk. So that's Adi_the_monk. And his Facebook is @Adi the Monk. His website is www.adithemonk.com. Special thanks to our guest today, Adi, and as always, our producer, Dave. The show is written, recorded, edited, and co-produced by Jay and myself. And our Ties Music Crossroads was written by Rock Sounds. We'll have a link in the show description for that. Our title music was performed by Keith Richards. We'll have more episodes coming soon, so make sure to listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram at The Inside Podcasters, or send us an email at theinsidepodcasters@gmail.com.
He's refusing to do another take. You hear that, sponsors? Do you hear it?
It's been 3 hours on Zoom.
Hey, I'm recording.
Well, we're talking about a specific temple, the Jagannath Temple in Puri, which is a temple that is very well known for being very strict about not allowing non-Hindus to the point that they will beat you, they will imprison you, they will fine you, all of these types of things, take your cameras, break your cameras,